for China because China is not autocracy. Europe at that time was 100% autocracy. So he looked to China. The 30-year war, Germanic population lost 1/3 of its population. He looked at China as the world's largest peaceful, unified empire. That's why he said we should look to China. That's the ideal. We have to be honest.
当西方记者质问中国没有多党制、没有人权时，张维为在论坛上扔下一组让全场安静的数字：法国仅12%的人满意国家方向，而中国是89%。每年1.3亿中国人出境旅游，99.999%选择回国。面对中国模式能否持续的质疑，他直言：危机就是机遇。放眼全球，只有中国能真正推动实质性改革。这不是普通的东西方辩论，而是5000年文明与启蒙运动标尺的正面遭遇。下面让我们看看精彩对话。
So I want to, you said that Weiwei had this equivalence between political systems, but he does not have equivalence. He has a clear preference. He believes that authoritarian systems are superior to democracy. He explicitly said that democracy yields to bad governance, if I'm not mistaken. So, My question to you, and therefore countries tend to be very tempted to export their models. They like to see what they do replicated elsewhere. So China should export that view.
No, it's not. Actually, Chinese are very modest. I'm being slightly, less modest. China do not export its model, do not advocate its model. But once you are successful, if you go to Africa, people talk about looking east. They have tried the Western model for decades, not working, So look to the east.
About the oppressed Muslim minority. So don't tell me that everybody is fine. I don't see anybody doing anything for the Muslims in Myanmar or the Muslims in China.
Let me answer you this question first.
Because I do believe we go in a conversation in which you are saying how good you are. We're saying that you're not very good. But in a certain way, the problem is that part of the Western democracy's also problem today is that we lost curiosity on the others. Obviously, China's legitimacy is not based on caution only. And if we're not seeing this, we're basically playing a game. The Chinese system at the moment, in my view, works fine based on an incredibly important economic performance. How strong is the system if economic performance is not there? So if we want to be serious, we should be open to the vulnerability of both regimes, because otherwise we go in a rhetorical story, which probably good opera performance, but it is not helping us more.
Yeah, actually, two questions for me. One is about the performance legitimacy. The other about the religious policy. Now, concerning performance legitimacy, actually, Chinese economy has gone through ups and downs over the past 4 decades, if you go back earlier. But, actually, each time when there is a crisis, it's an opportunity. We seize the crisis. The Chinese approach is very dialectical. Every crisis is also a good opportunity, and you can seize the opportunity. I think in today's world, there are fierce competitions. To my mind, United States needs reforms. European countries need reforms. China needs reforms. But actually, arguably, China is the only country that can really push for reforms, political, economic, social, substantial reforms. Now, concerning religion, actually, if you look at the history of China and Europe, one striking difference is in European history, there are a lot of religious wars for over 1,000 years, if not longer. Because each religion believes, I'm the right one, only one God. If you do not believe in this religion, you are wrong. It's less tolerant, less inclusive, it's exclusive. Good or bad, we look at history honestly. In the Chinese history, one striking difference, we do not have religious wars. Buddhism, Taoism, even to a certain extent, because smaller, Islam and Confucianism, people live together on the whole harmonious. But another message from the Chinese religious tradition is religion is religion. It's your belief, it's a way of life, but you cannot intervene in politics.
You think, and maybe as China deserves, if she stays on this path. If you really believe that the Rohingya problem is a problem of faith, if you really believe that the Uyghur problem is a problem of religion, it means that really your leadership has not understood how really a great power has to work in order to succeed, because it is a human rights question. It is a democratic subject, and it is not NGOs of the West who are, this is a plot theory, it's absurd. It is people who are in despair. The Rohingya, it's a terrible, nobody knew. No, let me finish. Nobody knew in the West, except a few of us, who the Rohingya were. They are the most miserable people in the world. They have no rights. They have nearly no identity.
Have you been to that region?
No identity. I'm sorry.
Have you been to this region? I've been there many times.
Of course I have been.
You have to see the rapid rising standard of people's
friend,
life.
I have been, alas, I am elder than you. And I went to this area, place of a cursed Muslim people in this environment.
But
I know who the Rohingyas are. I know that they are man deprived of any rights. And I know that in front of that, you cannot feel something else than despair. And they are despaired. And that's why they revolted. And the way in which they are treated is scandalous.
You are a Frenchman. I checked the latest opinion survey.
Obviously.
Latest opinion survey by Ipsos.
Yes.
In terms of to what degree you are happy with direction of your country. In China, it's 89%.
Rohingya, Uyghur.
I mean as a whole. No.
I speak
in France, 12%.
Okay.
Cannot support the other, the 89%.
Tell me about Rohingya and
really,
Uyghur.
mind your own business first. You know, we have many problems.
A Democrat,
but definitely,
precisely,
if we apply Western model, it's a disaster.
That you don't mind your own business first. This is Trump.
Improve your performance in France first. Your political system.
America first.
Don't produce another idiot.
We can vote now.
Mind your own business, Trump, is the line of Trump and China. Okay.
It's 89% with 12% satisfaction.
Who dares to speak in China anyway?
You know really too little about China. Little knowledge is dangerous. We have 130 million visits abroad, 3 million students abroad.
Don't attack me about my knowledge, because that's not the right way to go about it.
Even with that, we cannot agree to your interpretation.
I would like...
The anecdote goes, he said, I want to get each and every information about China. He said, please come to my office. We have knowledge about China. And he put a stick on his office, China Study Center.
This was the China of the time of Leibniz. What about the China of the time of today?
Today is much better. It's the best time of China, of course. But there are all these surveys.
The fact that our friend, for example, claims himself of Voltaire and Leibniz, this is very interesting. How the representative of a great country living under autocracy finds the need to claim faithfulness to Voltaire and Leibniz. This is a proof that we did not completely lost.
Well, my all respect for you as a French philosopher. You know, we have complete translation of Voltaire's works in Chinese. I myself read French. If his admiration for China, because China is not autocracy. Europe at that time was 100% autocracy. So he looked to China. The 30-year war, Germanic population lost 1/3 of its population. If you look at China, it's the world's largest peaceful, unified empire. That's why I said we should look to China. That's the ideal. We have to be honest.
Why is it that you consider your system of government a good form of government, while, you know, it is a government which is, there are no political parties for a year, there is no rule of law, there is no objection to child labor, and basically it's a political power based on fear. right?
This is really, will have to be the whole idea of good aspect of enlightenment is about rational. You have to be rational with China. If you look at China, now we export every year 130 million tourists. 99.999% return to China. Why do they prefer to return to a country without human rights? Of course, the opposite is true. It's vast improvement of human rights. It's so easy to check with any Chinese you meet in Brussels, in Amsterdam, in Beijing, Shanghai, everywhere in China. It's so simple. It's common sense. The point is, what we should guard against is Western cultural arrogance. You have so many reporters based in Beijing and Shanghai. They never speak Chinese language. So this is totally different.
But now you've gone wrong. It's not a ghost power. To bring in Bill Fallon. Bill, speak your mind.
Again, too many things, too rich a discussion, and I'm going to break my own rule here and talk about China. Only two things. It's very, very clear that the government of China puts a top priority on security and stability. It is fundamentally anathema to me that a nation with a responsibility for 1.3 or 1.4 billion people will deny its people the opportunity to listen, to hear things, not to act. The states will make rules all over the world to govern the actions of their citizens. But to deny the citizens the opportunity to listen to other opinions and ideas, which is a reality today in China, is fundamentally different than this Western humanism that we are called to at least discuss.
You know, if you look at the Chinese historical tradition, political culture, I think really I counsel, advocate this to non-Chinese as well. It's about moderation. Don't go to the extremes. You could have your own belief system, which we respect, but don't impose this on others in terms of so-called universal values. We had a long study. We checked these universal values, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. Then you look at the Chinese society, even in Singapore, in Hong Kong, all these who use chopsticks, the number one priority is always public order. Yeah. In the United States, it's freedom of speech. Although I doubt, because the United States is a politically correct society. Could you have real freedom of speech? Yeah. But that's another question. 6 years and a half ago, I said the United States and China both need political reforms. But in the case of China, small reforms have been going on all the time in the political system. We fix problems here and there. But I said, the problem is the United States. Your political system was a product of pre-industrial era. And I made a forecast. I said, without significant, substantial political reform, my concern is in your next elections, you will produce a leader worse off than George W. Bush.
Yes.
这场交锋的锋利藏在3个剧烈反差里。第一个反差是绩效合法性的攻防。西方质疑经济下行会动摇体制，张维为冷冷回应：美国需要改革，欧洲需要改革，但只有中国能推动政治、经济、社会的实质性变革。第二个反差在宗教与人权议题上爆开。西方以伏尔泰和罗兴亚问题发难，张维为翻开历史账本，欧洲经历1000年宗教战争，死了1/3人口，而中国从佛教、道教到伊斯兰教、儒家多元共存，从未有宗教战争。当西方记者以人权卫士自居时，被一句“你们在北京有多少记者会说中文”当场噎住。第3个反差最为致命，民意。1.3亿中国游客自由出入境，99.999%回国率不需要论文论证，这是最硬的人权投票。更狠的是文明底层逻辑的冲撞，筷子文化圈把公共秩序视为第一优先，西方把言论自由捧上神坛。张维为甚至预言，美国政治体制是前工业时代的产物，若不改革，下一位领导人可能比小布什更糟。他总结道，西方最大的危险不是中国崛起，而是自身的文化傲慢，用所谓普世价值丈量一个从未中断的文明。当非洲从向西看转向东看，当亿万中国人用脚投票选择回家，辩论的胜负已写在现实里。这不是意识形态输出，而是世界终于发现，除了西方那一套，还有另一套逻辑， 也能让10几亿人过上好日子。